It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles.
Welcome in. Sports by the Book's the show. The South Point Studio is the location.
Right on, buddy.
He's Vinny Magliulo. I'm Jeff Parles. Happy to be with you. The Hall of Famer, the best hair in the business.
Thank you. And it's all mine.
It's all his. 40-plus years here in Nevada. 50-plus years if you count his time in the tri-state area.
That's right. For tuition purposes.
For tuition purposes.
Tuition earning purposes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt. You doing all right?
I'm good, buddy.
You having a good day?
Yeah, I always have a good day.
Second Monday of October?
Yeah, it's all good. Columbus Day.
Yes.
A little something for my people.
But a little holiday. Yeah. You know what? I'll be honest with you, Vinny, except for the Christmases of the world, the Thanksgivings of the world, the New Year's Day of the world, because we have to say, oh, it's not 2023 anymore, it's 2024 now when we get to January 1 in a few months. All these other holidays just all merge together now at this point for me because we're working these holidays.
Well, ours, it's different, right? When most people are off, we're
here.
Working, so,
we're here.
Which is good. It's a good thing, and you get to spend a lot of time. A lot of people in town, being that it's a holiday weekend, and a lot of the people in town are wearing green and gold for a certain team from up Wisconsin way.
I was down yesterday. I was down in Park MGM, New York. A few friends are in town for the game tomorrow who are Packer fans. There were thousands of people wearing Packer gear yesterday.
Yeah.
Which makes you think for tonight's game. And let's just get quickly in to tonight's game real fast before we get some baseball that's actually just about – actually, you know what? Let's get to baseball because this is starting right now.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Vinny.
That's okay.
Let's get right there because the Braves and the Phillies are about to start. So let's give everyone their 5 minutes to get to the South Point app and get a betting in on this game before we get going. Vinny, of course, team totals offered. Yes, no run in the first inning offered as well for all of these postseason games. Phillies, as we know, took game one, looked to go up 2-0 in the series on Atlanta, looking to knock the Braves out for the second straight year in the division series.
Wow.
Zach Wheeler, Max Fried, heavy duty pitching matchup here tonight. And the Braves are, Vinny just actually just moved to $1.46 on Atlanta. Plus 136 on Philadelphia.
Yeah, again, 10-cent, the 10-cent line. Jeff, this opened with the Phillies as 150 favorites. So Philly support coming in, understandably so. I mean, look what they did the other day. They won this series a year ago. Now, obviously, the Braves certainly don't want to go down 0-2 and head up to Philadelphia. But right now, Philly's drawing the betting attention, and the way they've played in the last month and a half, it's not a real shock. So Philly's getting the betting attention here, and again, as you mentioned, first 5 innings. If you like to bet that, if you want to bet will or won't there be a run scored in the first inning, and of course, in game as well. So pretty good sized menu for the playoffs today.
And then the second game, real fast as well.
Yeah,
Dodgers and the Diamondbacks again. L.A. throttled in game one. Kershaw just another bad postseason start. Didn't even get out of the first.
Yeah.
And now the scene shifts to rookie Bobby Miller making the biggest start of his life tonight against legitimate Cy Young candidate Zach Gallen tonight. And the Dodgers, it's been all Diamondback action in this one from your opener plus 144 on Arizona down to plus 134 on the D-backs and minus 144 on L.A.
And the Dodgers couldn't get out of the first inning the other day. They couldn't get out of the second inning either.
No.
It was 9-0 before you finished your first Frosty. So, but Diamondbacks getting the betting attention here. Look, the Dogs, we talked about it going into the postseason. The Dogs are barking, and when you look at a team like the Diamondbacks, you look at a team like the Twins, certainly, and the Rangers, they were in a rhythm, right? Playing. Sometimes that first round bye works against some teams. Now, in the case of the Dodgers, it's just injuries riddling that pitching staff. So we'll have to see. Now, I think we'll get some Dodger money at some point because we always do. But I think the folks are going to stay committed to the Phillies, and but I think this other game will wind up being some two-way action here. And the nice part is that it's the two games are positioned nicely. They bookend tonight's Monday night game between the Packers and Raiders, Jeff.
Absolutely. And again, on the AL side, both off today. Rangers, talking about not getting out of the early innings yesterday for Baltimore. Rangers take both at Camden Yards, go up 2-0 on the 101-win Baltimore Orioles. And the Twins, Carlos Correa passing both Derek Jeter and Big Papi yesterday in the MLB postseason RBI all-time list.
Haunting his old team,
right? Yesterday.
He looked very comfortable.
Yeah,
at,
just a little bit.
Minute Maid, for sure.
3 runs batted in, a big day for Correa yesterday in a 6-2 win for the Minnesota Twins, who are now a slight underdog in that series at -105, -115 on the Astros. If you want to take a shot on the Orioles, +650 to win that division now, division series, down 2-0. I'll say this. Vinny, we talked about it going into this. Anything was in play in these division series.
Yeah.
And right now, the teams that had a bye have only one combined win through 2 game twos and the first game one and the game ones on the NL side. Just like last year. The NL side, the Phillies, the Padres, the 5 and the 6 seed playing the NLCS.
Yeah.
The Astros were really the only team with a bye last year that really handled their business well. Yeah, the Yankees won. But that was a bizarro 5-game series against Cleveland a year ago.
Yeah, and look, the thing is, the dogs are barking again. They're in a rhythm, and I think there's something to be said about that when you get to the postseason. So if you ask teams that they want an extra day of rest, an extra day is one thing, but when you get almost an extra week, sometimes that works against teams. By the way, games 2 tomorrow, Jeff, between the Astros and Twins. Twins at home now. They're a $1.25 favorite. The total on that game also 8. And the Rangers looking to wrap it up at $1.35, and the total on that one 9 as they move home against the O's.
The O's again,
or
Baltimore.
the Woes.
Yeah, not been a good series for Baltimore so far. To put it politely, 3-2, 11-8, the 2 losses for the O's. All right, let's get to the NFL. Vinny, yesterday, how'd it go?
Good day. I would say, Jeff, the morning was a good morning for the house. The afternoon
favorites again
wound up being very good for the betting public. I was a little surprised yesterday. Now we did close the Niners 3.5. We opened that game 4 last night. It got bet down to there were 3 briefly. Then it closed at 3.5. But there was a lot of late. I tell you what, the last half hour. Chris Andrews and I were talking about that. It was all Cowboy money. I mean, it was like a 4-to-1 ratio in that last 30, 45 minutes of Cowboy money. So back here at South Point, there was a gentleman that came up and bet about 40,000 on the bet about 30 and then another 10 on the Cowboys plus the 3.5. So wound up being a good day overall. And of course, everything is going to tonight. With the Raiders now 2.5 here at South Point, and the total 45. And if you look at that, remember last Sunday night we opened the Packers as a 1-point favorite. Money once that now initially money came in on the Packers, but as we got closer to the weekend, and ever since we hit Friday, it's been all Raider money, especially with the news of Garoppolo. Going to go. Jones is out. Jones for the Packers. Yeah. He's gone tonight. And it looks like Devontae Adams is going to go for the Raiders. So 2.5 and 45. The total is up from the 43.5 opener. Did get as high as 45.5 at one point. In fact, we just went to 45. 2.5 and 45.
Garoppolo, of course, as you mentioned, in clearing concussion protocol in the middle of the week after missing last week's game, a tight loss to the Chargers where both teams attempted to lose the game, and the Chargers still found a way to come out on top.
I've got to tell you, I don't know what's going on with some of these late coaching decisions in terms of Chris and I were also talking, and a lot of people, this is not Monday morning quarterbacking, but there's some people that they can't read a time clock or know how many timeouts the other team has or they have. I mean, it's just we saw it all quite a few times on Saturday, and even yesterday. I believe you even voiced your opinion on one team from from New York who played in Denver yesterday.
Well, I mean, it was apparent that was going to happen once they burned the final timeout. Jets did win that game, despite that butchering of the end of the first half.
How about butchering at the end of the game when instead of running the ball on third down, 3rd and 3?
I actually didn't. I didn't have an issue with that.
You didn't.
I didn't have an issue
going into the shotgun and passing the ball instead of having Denver use their last timeout on the front end of the 2-minute warning.
I'm not entirely certain Payton would have actually used the timeout. Now I would.
Okay, but don't you go up 6 and force them to score a touchdown?
That was far from the biggest issue I had in that game. There was a lot of
there were
weird
several
things
issues
in that game,
but at the end of the game
sides.
with the game on the line.
Yeah, you let your best player go make a play. The throw wasn't good enough, and an all-world corner made a great play. I didn't have an issue with that. So,
but your best player did not initiate the play.
So regardless, that was an interesting game to say the very least. I will say this with tonight, Vinny. I understand the injuries on the Green Bay side.
Yeah,
Vegas is healthier tonight.
Yeah, no,
but
they are.
This is, at some point, Vinny, I know that you never go to a negative home field advantage. I understand that. But with this schedule this year for the Raiders at home, where they have so many teams coming here for the first time since the Raiders have moved here, or there are teams that were supposed to come here in 2020 that are coming here this year. Of course, there are no fans in the building in Allegiant that year at any point. But we saw it in the first home game. Our own Chris Andrews was there. That was a majority of Steeler fans. Based off of what I saw in the strip last night,
I can tell you
Green Bay is going to have more than 50% tonight. No doubt.
There were a lot of Steeler fans here last week. There's going to be more Packer fans. There's more green here walking around in jerseys and T-shirts than there is felt.
Right.
So trust me.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's a lot.
A big deal.
But I'll tell you a couple of things about that. Now, first of all, this is the most expensive venue in the NFL.
Of course.
Okay. And I think, it's not that Raider fans – look, you look at the betting –
they only bet the Raiders.
But I think it's actually a business opportunity for a lot of Raider fans too on the secondary market. Let's call it what it is, right? And the folks that are here now, they've got packages, with airfare, their rooms, tickets, and it's a holiday weekend. So and I think a lot of those packages, Jeff, are minimum 3-day stays. So when you look at it that way. Again, we've said it all along. Every Raider game is an event. We're an event-driven city now. Okay, it's not just to come here to gamble. There's a lot going on here in entertainment and sports, and I think really one of, if not the clear-cut example of that is every Raider home game.
Yeah.
Now think about this. What's ironic is there were more Raider fans at SoFi.
Then here, 100%.
All right, so they go there, and there's a lot of Golden Knights fans that go to L.A. and Anaheim because the tickets are cheaper, and they get a discounted airfare.
Well, they would have also gone to Arizona all the time until they moved to the venue with 3,000 people in.
Well, yeah. So,
by the way, we will get some hockey talk later in the show.
We will. Hockey begins tomorrow, and one Lord Stanley's. Cup is going to be
the banner going.
The banner goes up tomorrow.
Banner goes up tomorrow, just north of us at T-Mobile Arena. Vinny, I do like the Packers tonight.
Okay,
I do like the Packers tonight.
You're hoping to sniff a 3, aren't you?
I don't think we're getting there. I don't think we're getting there. I think we would have already gotten there, Vinny. I really do.
I think so, Jeff. But would it shock me? No, I'd be a bit surprised. And if it does get there,
it'll be there very quickly.
It'll be an absolute take.
Yeah. There are 2s in the market already, so I would be surprised if it goes back to 3. The Packers right now are 2-2. They should be this record with a win over Atlanta and a loss to New Orleans. Just should have the results flip from those 2 games. Well, we know what happened. Atlanta made the comeback in the second week, and the Packers made that absurdist 17-0 comeback, 18-17 in week 3. But the Raiders are poorly coached. That's my big issue with them. There's enough talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Mhm.
I'm not a huge Garoppolo guy, but he's a league average starting quarterback. He's proven that in his tenure so far.
He's
in
top
the NFL.
20.
Yeah, he's about 15 to 20 for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Defensively, yeah, Max Crosby's awesome.
Mhm.
The rest of that defense is okay to below average.
I thought the defense would be better, actually, but go ahead.
But they are so poorly coached. And you saw it again last week in a game where Brandon Staley did everything humanly possible to keep you in the game. And you still, and yes, I understand it was a rookie quarterback making his NFL debut and all that. But there were so many chances for the Raiders to take advantage of Charger blunders that were not taken advantage of. Of course, 2 weeks before that, McDaniels forgot how mathematics works against the Steelers. But this is what
he's got a lot of company, by the way.
I
just
understand
as
that.
we started the show.
But this is the only win for this team this year is against the Broncos, who are legitimately terrible. The Broncos are a bad football team through the first 5 weeks of the season, even with the talent that they have on the team and the supposed coaching talent, even though Peyton hasn't shown that at all in these first 5 weeks. The Raiders, to me, are a bottom 5 NFL team. Bottom five for me.
If you
I like Green Bay. Green Bay's, to me, about just slightly below league average. Probably about team 16, 17, 18 for Green Bay right now. They're better than the Raiders are.
Power rating wise,
they're probably a little higher power rating wise, right?
The Packers are a bit higher than the Raiders, and I think there were higher expectations for the Raiders, even though they were the fourth choice. Believe it or not, Broncos
in the division. Were shorter in the division.
So when you look at the AFC West, they were the fourth choice, but they got a lot of support, as they always do in futures, regular season wins to make the playoffs, Super Bowl futures. So. But, Jeff, I mean, I don't know. Look, we all, there are Monday morning quarterbacks. There are a lot more Monday morning bookmakers. But when it comes to coaching, it definitely comes into play. I will say this. I personally have really paid so much more attention to it. I've always paid attention to it because I think it's always important, but I've paid even more attention in the last couple of years, just to watch, especially what happens not only at the end of first halves, but at the end of games. And I think it has to be taken into account in a team's power rating. So
100%. By the way, quick update in Atlanta. Getting a little sweaty already. Philadelphia on the board first. Trey Turner, double. Alec Boehm singled him in.
What an addition.
1-0 Philadelphia, and they have 2 on with 2 out for Nick Castellanos. So already a little early trouble here for the Atlanta Braves, who, again, Vinny, as we've seen already, as we mentioned before, teams with the byes have not really handled it well so far this postseason. Atlanta didn't handle it well last year, and through 9.5 innings right now for the team that was clearly the best team in baseball through 162 games, is already in a little bit of trouble and got to turn it around quickly, or else it's going to be 2-2 back to Philadelphia.
Yeah, I like this Philly team, though. They've played – I think you can make a case for the Phillies playing the best baseball over the last 5-6 weeks of the season.
Going into the series, you and I talked about this last week, I thought this was the 2 best teams in baseball playing each other in the best of 5.
Yeah.
So that's why I liked Philly in the series. That's why I have those Philly futures.
Good for you, bud.
Because they match up well with this Brave team, and they are showing it so far. I mean, going into this game today, the Phillies were the betting favorite to win the National League because of the way that the pricing was.
Well, because of the taking into account that the Dodgers are down 1-0, right? There's another. This could be another.
Be a play at the play. No, held them. Wow.
Well, it got out there quick, right?
Well, bases are loaded with 2 outs after a hard hit single by Castellanos. So, well, if you're the Phillies, you can really put the hammer down right now. Really put it down early here. Bryson Stott, of course, had the big grand slam against the left-hander in the Miami series, coming up with them loaded here in Atlanta, Vinny.
Yeah, I think when you everybody's hot on this team, right? Who's not?
Oh, 100%. We'll keep you updated as we go along throughout that game. Are you guys doing in-game between innings here?
We've got Doug, I think, is back there doing the in-game on the.
Shout out to Doug doing the in-game back there, for sure.
He does a great job. He's He does an awesome in-game.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to look at some early numbers in the NFL for Week 6. Vinny, there are a lot of big favorites this week in the NFL coming up, including two AFC East teams, double-digit favorites at home. Make it 2 touchdown favorites at home, actually,
Wow.
I should say, for the 2 top teams in the AFC East. And
In
more
Week 6.
in Week 6. It's early. We also have some hockey to get to as well. Futures. How are they betting the Golden Knights as the Knights look to repeat as Cup champions here in the 23-24 season? We come back next here on Sports by the Book at the South Point studio.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
Welcome back in. Sports by the Books, the show. The South Point studio is the location. I'm Jeff Parles, Vinny Magliulo alongside. Also, just want to let you know, today we debuted the second show here at the South Point studio.
Yes.
Punchline. Frank Nicotero. Great
right.
job. Saw World Series champion Denny Nagel on the show earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
And Frank will be here all week.
Yep. Of course, he joined, so it was good. Congratulations to Frank. Another edition.
Another edition.
As we expand.
Absolutely. And another native son for you as well, too.
Well, listen, I mean, if you're going to have a show, you got to have let's face it. If you're going to have a show, you have to have vowels.
Yes. Very, very good there, Vinny. Absolutely.
That's another shirt.
That's a good shirt. That's a good shirt, actually.
Right.
I like that.
Thank you. And did you take that? Write that down, please.
Well, it's vowels and silent letters, right?
Well,
I mean, requirement, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely. All right, let's do this here, Vinny. Let's take a quick detour to hockey because the season starts.
Yes.
Season starts tomorrow night
Mm-hmm.
in the National Hockey League. The headliner, especially here in town, the Vegas Golden Knights will send their first Stanley Cup championship banner to the rafters at T-Mobile Arena. They'll host the Kraken. That's the late game tomorrow night, 7:30 local here in Vegas. So assume 7:50 to maybe even 8 o'clock Pacific time for that one getting going.
Yeah, I think it'll. Of course, we never close, so it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
In Las Vegas.
There are 3 games tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a triple header too.
Yeah,
I think.
so
right?
you have prices out there already for the openers. Lightning hosting the Predators, the Blackhawks on the road in Pittsburgh, and the Knights, of course, hosting the Kraken to begin the season. Where are we at pricing-wise for those openers tomorrow?
So we offer the money line and the puck line here, right? So Lightning $1.65 at home with the total 66.5 under, Jeff, and the puck line -1.5 if you think they're going to win the game by 2 or more, and you can take +140 on the Lightning. Still, probably will have something to say in the Eastern Conference. Not too far removed, just a couple of seasons removed from Stanley Cup 3 seasons ago. Blackhawks and Penguins. Blackhawks in their rebuild, going against the Penguins, who have added a few people. There'll be a Riley Smith sighting, who was traded from the Golden Knights in the offseason. A big favorite, though, and I'm not. I don't think this will surprise anybody. Penguins 240 as they try to get back to the postseason. 6.5 over for that total, and the Penguins are a $1.50 favorite on the puck line, plus 15 cents there. And of course, the Golden Knights going against the Kraken, who they ended the season with last year. Here's the Kraken in their third year, and they made the playoffs last year and won a round. So a very good young franchise with good ownership, good management. Knights $1.70, 6 over on the total, 6 over 20, and the Knights, if you think they can win the game by 2 or more, plus $1.45. I do have a couple of. Now you want to check all injuries, but in case of the Knights, two of their starting defensemen will not play tomorrow. They're going to start the season on the IR.
Alec Martinez and Zach Whitecloud on the IR.
So look, now it's always very distracting, I think, too, right, for that home team. Everybody likes to bet and of course here in Las Vegas, the Knights get backed very heavily.
Oh yeah.
As much, if not more, than the Raiders sometime. And again, they were born here. I had a friend who was a great hockey guy, a terrific hockey mind from Buffalo originally, Brian Blessing, who left us far too soon a few years ago. But Brian Blessing always said, be wary of the team that raises the banner on that in that first game because of all the distractions. And the team coming in really looking to make a name for themselves, as the Kraken did last year. So now, will we see Knights money? There's no question about it. But again, there's regional bias here in this. But I think that they certainly need to take care of business and come out fast, like they did last year. I mean, they did start well last year. Looks like a goalie tandem right now with Thompson and Hill. So I suspect we'll see Hill tomorrow night. And then the Knights, along with the Canes, the overall favorites for the Cup with the Avs. They're 7-1.
So I do want to bring this up real quick, because this is regionality actually plays an impact in the futures book here for hockey, because a lot of you guys are at 7 on VGK, which is one of the lower numbers in the market.
The Knights and the Canes are 7, but the Avs and the Oilers are 8.
8, yeah.
Now, if you go to Colorado, I guarantee that the Avs are the favorite.
Well, I mean, just looking at other locales, VGK is 12-1 in the state of Colorado right now.
I'm sure.
And in other jurisdictions.
And the Avs are what?
10.
The favorite?
They're actually 10. They're actually longer than you have right now.
In Colorado?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's because Carolina's the shortest shot, which I'll be honest with you, I'm a little
That's gonna change.
I'm a little surprised, and look, I'm a New Jersey guy, obviously, but I'm a little surprised at the respect both the Devils and the Canes are getting in the futures book early.
Why the Canes are?
The Canes look for me with the Canes, it's never an argument of what's on paper for them. It's never an argument of that.
But
I want to see them bust through before I fully trust them. I know the Devils
bust through further along in the playoffs.
Yes, correct. Correct. And we know hockey playoffs are random, Vinny.
I think that the Canes are going to be better than last year. I think there's better chemistry. I think the biggest question with the Devils, who were very good last year as well, Jeff, when they got to the postseason, it came undone. I think that it's the goaltending, right?
Yeah, it was last year, too.
So I mean that's certainly going to be the key for them. But again, shop your prices. For certain.
Do I make this the 5th year in a row where I just throw money away on betting the Leafs, saying it's finally the year that they're going to win it?
Talk about chemistry. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
especially with the big 3 there, Jeff. Something. I tell you one thing that we always hear about and you learn over the years, but we did see it with some of the deletions that the Knights made prior to last season, and then some of the additions they made, and including at the trade deadline. I think chemistry is so much more important now than ever before. Just an observation, but yeah, the banner goes up tomorrow night at T-Mobile, and by the way, shout out to our Las Vegas Aces, up 1-0 in the best of 5 against the New York Liberty. They're 5-point favorites. Going for back-to-back. Titletown. We're in Titletown, Jeff. Let's face it.
The Aces trying to avenge losing the Commissioner's Cup a few months ago against the New York Liberty.
I think they'd gladly trade it, though, for this.
Well, I know future backers would gladly trade the Aces losing that game in August for an Aces championship. I think, again, with the WNBA, just real quick on this, because it is a local team, it is the matchup we knew we were getting once the season began anyway. The two best teams by a wide margin, the two super teams in the league.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Liberty were actually up at halftime, and then the Aces really pummeled them in the second half.
Especially the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Right? They just took control of the fourth quarter.
But it's one of those, too, where the Aces are going to get bet because of where we are. They just are.
A lot of support here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their games sell out. They're great. It's a great atmosphere over there.
At Michelob Ultra at
Mandalay Bay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very good. They're 4-1 favorites now for the
They should be.
series.
They should be. That is, in a best of 5, that is a very difficult hill to climb, even for a team as good as New York in a 1-0 hole. Hey, we could finally see a Game 5 in the WNBA Finals
be a battle.
Here next week. Tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday or tomorrow?
Wednesday, Game 2.
Wednesday's tomorrow. Okay.
Wednesday.
2 days from now. Today's Monday. Got to remember the days of the week. At least on my end here, Vinny. So, all right. They're through one in Atlanta. Philadelphia 1, Atlanta nothing. So a clean first for Zach Wheeler. Good news there if you're a Phillies backer here today.
Yeah, they got through it, and Braves still a slight favorite. Even it's just the first inning. By the way, who had the first inning? Yes,
Ryan had.
Ryan, did you have it? Even money.
Got home.
Good job, buddy.
Got home on the even money.
I love when the crew's in action.
That's always a good thing. That's always a very good thing to say at the very least there, Vinny. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look ahead. We'll keep you updated of what's going to happen, what's going on with the number tonight, just down the road at Allegiant for the Raiders and the Packers. We'll also look ahead to Week 6, and Vinny and I talked about this a little bit in the tease in the last segment. There are a lot of big favorites.
Man.
It's only Week 6. Big difference between the have and have-nots already in the NFL.
We know who the teams are right now.
We do.
What they are.
We sure do.
Right.
We'll tell you about it when we get back. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Our gaming amenities include over 60 table games and over 2,600 of the most popular slot and video poker machines. We have penny slots, including the popular Buffalo games, and real machines like Wheel of Fortune, 777s, and Megabucks. If you prefer video poker, try Deuces Wild, Double Bonus, or a variety of multi-denomination games. Or try your hand at one of the most popular casino table games in the world, Blackjack. Don't let the game intimidate you. Blackjack, also known as 21, is both easy and fun. And our dealers are always happy to assist. And the best part? Blackjack always pays 3-2. Next, check out the roulette tables. Roulette is one of the easiest casino games to learn, and so much fun to play. It's a favorite of both beginners and seasoned players. In addition to blackjack and roulette, our casino pit features over 60 popular table games like Baccarat, Pai Gow Poker, 3-Card Poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Mississippi Stud. So get out of your room and come join in the fun.
Welcome back in. Sports by the Book here at the South Point studio. I'm Jeff Parles, Vinny Magliulo alongside. Happy to be with you. The second Monday of October, Columbus Day.
Love it.
Packers and Raiders tonight just down the road over at Allegiant Stadium. Vinny, as we said before, this line has not moved since this morning.
Yeah.
2.5 on Vegas now. This is, again, they took you up the ladder, they took you down the ladder, they're taking you back up the ladder on this game. This has been, actually, when it's all said and done, this will end up being the biggest mover of the week with the way, the amount of times that you had to move the number, Vinny.
Yeah, but I mean, it's basically a pick'em game, so
Yeah.
it's not that unusual, right? But yeah, Jeff. I mean, again, they bet against the Raiders early, not knowing the status of Garoppolo, and then when it was announced that he was probable and now is in, it's been all about the Raiders. So, Packers opened 1 last Sunday night. We post the numbers here at South Point on Sunday night. They bet them up to 2 very early in the week. And then as it looked like Garoppolo was making progress, pretty steady stream of Raider money. And then yesterday and today, all about the Raiders. Went to 2 yesterday and 2.5 this morning. Now Raiders favorite.
And I like Green Bay. I think they're the better coach team. No home field advantage for the Raiders tonight. If anything, it'll be a road team advantage tonight at Allegiant Stadium. Vinny, total's at 45. This is actually taking a little bit of a trip as well on this total. But that, again, you opened it with the unknown status of Jimmy G earlier in the week, and the bettors took it up once Jimmy Garoppolo was ruled in the middle of the week.
And again, the Raiders had not been really scoring points, right, going into to last week. So, but not really surprising either, Jeff. And again, the public loves to bet overs, and that's fine. They like to cheer for points. I think fantasy plays a lot into that too, because they've got players involved as well. So professionals will look for the opportunities to bet unders, and that bodes well for us. So there's balance. There's two-way action.
Let's look ahead to Week 6 real quick here, Vinny, as we are heading to the third portion, getting through the first third of the NFL season.
Yeah.
Already.
Fast.
Al, it always goes fast.
Yeah.
Blink of an eye. Time flies. Time goes quickly when you have fun.
It's almost time for spring training, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, no thanks. I'm okay on that one. We still got some playoffs to get through. So, starting in Week 6, Vinny, the big storyline for me this week is just the number of double-digit favorites for Week 6.
Mm-hmm.
I know we saw a few last week. Dolphins, of course, ended up covering all numbers yesterday against the Giants, who are really, really struggling right now, to put it politely.
Where are they a play against, huh?
But you have 3 double-digit favorites in Week 6.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often. Now, 2 of them are interconference battles with the Giants on Sunday night. Boy, we all get to see the Giants on Sunday night. I'm sure everyone's going to love that. In Western New York, with the Bills angry after losing to Jacksonville and London yesterday. Bills open 15 down to 14 now, at least. So they have taken some Giant money, at least a little, Vinny.
Well, a little bit. And then I think an adjustment too, right? Milano's injury coupled with secondary injuries a week ago. And you and I were talking off air, right? I'm sure that the Bills are starting to get an early look at defensive players come trade deadline, which you mentioned is Halloween, right? Is that
around Halloween?
Right around Halloween. Yeah. So
Matthew Milano likely done for the season, having surgery on his leg that he injured yesterday. That is, again, for non-pass rusher, because there are pass rushers that obviously, like we saw what Pittsburgh's defense was without T.J. Watt when he was hurt. They are a top 5 unit with him. They're not close to that without him.
No doubt.
But for Buffalo, where they got Von Miller back, he dipped his toe in the water yesterday, played a little bit. That was all you were really expecting on a pitch count. But to lose a guy like Milano, where they remember Edmonds, they let Edmonds walk in free agency, and I think properly so with the amount of money he was paid. You lose Milano, who doesn't quite get the respect to the general public of how good of a player he is. where if you're watching Buffalo every week, you know how good he is.
He gets the respect of
and he gets the respect of everyone who's paying attention and knows what they're doing.
No question.
But that is a big – it won't impact them this week. Now, I don't know if Buffalo will cover 2 touchdowns against the Giants.
Right.
It will be a game I will definitely stay away from because it's too early in the season to be messing with that big of a line. And the Giants have looked so dreadful that I can't stomach it, at least on Monday. Talk to me on Sunday night. But right now, can't stomach it on a Monday.
Can I interest in the total?
45? I'm going to need 42 from Buffalo to get there, Vinny, which could happen.
It might happen, Jeff.
It could happen. So
don't be shocked.
But, it's a huge loss, and especially for Buffalo, where that AFC right now is a jumbled mess right now. That is a bad one for Buffalo to have taken yesterday. And to add the insult to the injury, Buffalo Coast losing the game yesterday.
A couple things. So I don't think you're going to see Von Miller at 40 snaps a game, right?
Probably not for another few weeks.
And even then, Joe, I mean, you wonder, right?
Yeah.
So, again, trade deadline, I'm sure that the Bills, it's a good organization. They know what they need, and I'm sure they'll be preparing for that. You mentioned the game yesterday and the disappointment. Credit the Jags.
Yeah.
But let's remember this too now, and I guess we'll see it again next year. Because the Jags they're the only team that goes to London every year, right? But this year, back-to-back weeks. So you talk about being acclimated from a clock standpoint, from a in rhythm standpoint. The Bills didn't go, I don't think, till Thursday, maybe Friday. Now, I credit the Ravens here. Let's talk about – I bring up the Ravens because they are playing the Titans in London this week. And by the way, they opened as a 4-point favorite. They're down to 3.5. Ravens are getting healthier. The Ravens, I think they're leaving today or tomorrow. They're going.
Ravens are going tonight, actually.
Yeah, so they're going earlier. So credit them for taking note of how important it is to get a little bit more acclimated. So I think that now no excuses for the Bills, but again, credit the Jags, who, by the way, I know I'm jumping around here, but when you look at that game, Jeff, the Jags have a big game this week.
Indy.
They opened 5 against the Colts. They're now down to 4, and that's a battle for
first place.
First place in the division, right? The Colts are a big surprise.
Anthony Richardson looking like he's dealing with an AC joint injury after leaving again. Richardson, there's 5 games into his 5 weeks into his career. He's played in 4 games, missed the 1 game with the concussion. He's only finished 1 game.
Yes,
which is not a good sign.
No.
For the way that he plays and the style that he's going to have to play to be successful in the league.
You think they might be on the lookout for offensive linemen in the upcoming draft?
Well, that hasn't helped things. Granted, I will say, I got to give Indianapolis a lot of credit for where they're at.
No question.
With the way that Richardson's only finished 1 game.
Yeah.
And they're 3-2. Minshew has played as well as you could have asked for in relief. And here they are in week 6. Again, this is actually a very early rematch where Indy and Jacksonville are playing each other twice in the first 6 weeks of the season.
I know.
Great scheduling there from the league. Of course,
I don't think the league anticipated it being for first place at this point.
It's an important game in that division.
Sure.
Really for Jacksonville, because Jacksonville won in Indy in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
If Jacksonville wins this game, it's a 2-game lead for all intents and purposes, because they will have swept the series.
You double it. Yeah, you have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, you will have swept the season series, and you'll be a game ahead of Indianapolis. I will say this. I am a little bit surprised that the bettors have took that price that quickly down, Vinny. I'm a little surprised. I understand that Jacksonville is traveling back after 2 weeks in London. I understand that there's not a big, if any, home field advantage for the games in Jacksonville. But I am a little bit surprised that the bettors have taken Indy, especially. I guess we're assuming Minshew is probably going to play this week. I would imagine Anthony Richardson's not going to be ready.
Richardson's out. He might be out for about a month.
Richardson's not going to be ready to go, at least for a little bit.
Yeah. So it's a take of the number and a take on they're playing well. And their running backs are terrific, and they're healthier at the running back position too, right? So I think it'll be a good game. I can understand taking the points especially when you're getting more than 4. 4 is another key number. Again, 3 the most key. Then you have 7, but 4 and 10 are pretty important too. And when you look at them, 11 even. So, yeah.
The other double-digit line, I'll just bring it up quickly. Miami. You guys are the market high on this game right now. Dolphins covered all big numbers yesterday against the Giants. Taking on Carolina, who got destroyed yesterday in Detroit in a game that was really never competitive either.
They helped destroy themselves, too.
Yeah, Bryce Young is really having a hard time in his his first season in the NFL. Carolina, the only winless team left, so if you bet those markets, last team to be winless, you're already home on Carolina.
Yeah.
Still waiting to be determined on the final unbeaten team, where might be waiting a while on that one being decided between Philadelphia and San Francisco with the way those teams look through the first 5 weeks. Vinny, it's week 6. Miami's been as high as 13-point favorites and now a 14-point favorite in week 5 and week 6. You just don't see this type of stuff happen this early in the season usually.
Well, I think what's attractive for Miami this week is not only their ability to score and their team speed, but the Panthers' struggles, right, Jeff? Even with the Dolphins lost to Buffalo, they still scored 20 points, which is, there are teams that would sign immediately to
20 against Buffalo. We'll take it. Yeah,
and again, Buffalo's defense was stronger. That's when they started to incur some injuries, and of course it culminated. Yesterday's added to those woes. But the Dolphins, because they can score, they're always going to be backed, and they're always going to be a threat in games, even if they go down by 3 scores. And this really started last year, and I think they're more dangerous this year. I mean, I think they have more team speed this year than they did last year. I also think at some point, this Fangio's defense has got to get better, right? I mean, as the season goes on, it's got to get better. But they make critical plays at the right times. But they'll get the Bills again right down later in the year down in Miami, and we'll have to see what the Bills look like by then too, especially given their injuries on the defensive side.
For that AFC East, if Aaron Rodgers stayed healthy, that race would look a lot different than it does already. It would have been an extra team in the mix that's not going to be there now. But look, Buffalo, that Milano injury, I'm going back to that here, Vinny. For long term for
huge.
This. Buffalo, it's a good thing for the Bills that they got that Week 4 game against Miami, because you at least go to Miami with that win in your back pocket,
right now.
So you're not getting swept by Miami in the regular season.
Sure. Yeah.
So you could still win by other tie breaks if that ends up being a tie between the two of them at the top of the AFC East. Other NFL games I want to look at here.
By the way, excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Another double did.
I was getting to Kansas City.
Oh, were you going Thursday?
That's where I was going next.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Kansas City and Denver. Boy, I am flabbergasted at how bad the Broncos are. There's too much talent on that roster to look that awful. And they are 1-4. They really should be 0-5 because the Bears handed that game to them on the silver platter 2 weeks ago. And now they go to Kansas City. You open 11 down to a 10.5. So they did take the 11 with the Broncos. Total went from 51.5 all the way to 49. So they're taking it under as well. Even with that Denver defense, which is not any good. The Jets probably should have scored 40+ yesterday and somehow only managed 31.
Couldn't
horrible red zone yesterday from New York. Kansas City, I was talking to a friend of mine who works in radio in the state of Missouri and grew up in Kansas City, a big Chief fan. And we're talking about and this is a little bit like Philadelphia as well, even though Philly's 5-0. Chiefs are 4-1. They're one really ridiculously dumb play from Kadarius Toney away from being 5-0.
And several drop balls.
Yeah. But really it was that pick six that he dropped. What should have been a completion dropped into a pick
without
six.
Kelsey and without Jones.
Yeah.
Right?
And they still only lost by a point to a team that is pretty clearly a really good team in Detroit.
Yeah.
It's so weird how we look at these top contenders, and it really goes for both of the teams that were in the Super Bowl last year. Kansas City and Philadelphia are combined 9-1. And we're watching them like, wait a second here. Neither of these teams look particularly good. What's wrong with them? And here they are. They're 9-1 put together through the first 5 weeks.
And they're covering.
Exactly, yeah. Well, we talked about this yesterday. I'm still, of all the moves this year in the NFL, the fact that everyone decided that Minnesota was going to cover every single number out there and then not covering it all was still one of the weirder ones this year.
And betting against the Chiefs. Usually, you talk about something very different this year in the first 5 weeks compared to recent years where the Chiefs are such a public team. But I think maybe folks think that the number's inflated and, they can't keep losing receivers, although as long as they get that Kelsey guy, they're going to be just
okay.
fine. The Chiefs 10.5 here, Jeff. This will be a good two-way betting. And by the way, if last year's Broncos team was one of the worst coaching jobs ever, quote unquote, according to their current coach, how's this year going?
Not good,
right?
Not good, Vinny.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, it's.
I'm sure he's saying that in the mirror, right?
It's really, again, it's flabbergasting for the talent that Denver has, and the fact that defense last year, where there was at one point in the season where if Denver just scored 20 points through the first 9 games of the season last year, Denver would have been 8-1 last year, and they were under 500 and well underwater at that.
Jeff, you could have talent, and you point out that there is talent, but if it's not coming together, right, then who's that on, right? I mean,
it's on the coaching,
right? So
it's on the coaching.
There's more there than their record indicates. There's no question about that. But whose responsibility is that? So, and you'd say, well, the coaches can't play the games. Well, look, there's still some calls and things going on, and clearly, coach and quarterback are not on the same page.
Oh, well, that's pretty obvious.
I mean, you can just watch their
yesterday.
Interaction, and it's clearly not happening.
I mean, also just look at halftime adjustments. Until that touchdown drive yesterday, Denver had negative 16 yards or negative 10 yards of offense, I should say, in the second half until that last touchdown drive that they had a day ago in a loss to the Jets. I want to go to Cleveland next, Vinny, because this is a little complex. We still don't know about Deshaun Watson.
Correct.
We don't know. Cleveland had a bye last week, and we're a week plus from the last time the Browns played, and we thought Watson was going to play, and he ended up not playing. DTR in his first NFL start did not go well, which really upset all the people that wanted him to be ahead of Deshaun Watson on the depth chart anyway. But, San Francisco's coming in. Bad spot if you don't have a healthy quarterback or if you have DTR playing this game. But, Vinny, I will ask you this with the Niners, where last night was so dominant. What they did to a team that I think is a legitimate top 5 team in the NFL. And that game, there was no doubt, watching that game the whole way through, who the number 1 power-rated team was and who's the team that people want to find things to hold against them was last night in Dallas and San Francisco. You guys opened 5.5, which is actually the highest number in the market on this game.
Mm-hmm.
The total opened 39.5. You're now at 39 as you opened these last night. Or you opened this one this morning, I should say.
After last night. Yeah, we had them up, and then when the game started,
right.
It comes down.
But Vinny, I'll ask you this, where this is one of those where I don't expect much movement until we know what's happening with Watson, and it has been tight-lipped with Cleveland over the last week and so far today as well.
Jeff, it's interesting. And by the way, this game's down to 4, right? We open at 5.5. So
okay.
A little bit of until we find out about Watson, because the Browns have a pretty solid defense, right? And so you still have a road trip coming up here if you're the Niners. I know that there was high regard for the Cowboys, but I've got to tell you, the Cowboys' 3 victories this year, and their defense looked great against the Giants, the Jets, and the Patriots. They lost pretty convincingly down in Phoenix to Arizona, to the Cardinals, who everybody thought they were, quote unquote tanking, and they get absolutely dominated last night. So at the beginning of the show, we talked about the identity of teams are now starting to be, who we thought they are. But I don't know. I'm wondering about, and there's a lot of questions about Dallas right now, and I think those questions are going to linger a while until they put together and defeat a quality team or a better team than the 3 victories that I mentioned: the
Absolutely.
Giants, the Jets, and the Patriots.
And look, Dallas, like you said, those wins. The Giants look like one of the 3 worst teams in the league. The Patriots are so badly lost at this moment.
Back-to-back shutouts in 2 consecutive games.
I mean, they're terrible. It's amazing how bad. And really, if it wasn't for Zach Wilson's incompetencies, New England would be 0-5 right now, and it would be Tankapalooza for Caleb Williams for the Patriots at this point. And by the way, it still may be. And then the Jets, I mean, it was Zach Wilson's first start, and Dallas didn't muster a second-half touchdown in that game. So you may be right. You may be right that maybe we crown Dallas off of a few wins against some teams that aren't particularly good, and maybe they're just a solid playoff team and not much more than that.
By the way, they are 2-point favorites next Monday night in Los Angeles.
And I was about to say as well, I like Dallas early against the Chargers.
Mm-hmm. Next Monday night.
That will be, as we saw when the Cowboys went there a few years ago, that will be a very partisan Dallas crowd there on Monday night at SoFi against the Chargers, Vinny.
Yeah.
Very much so.
No doubt. I mean, the Chargers, I think their support's a little better this year than it was last year. Certainly than the first year they were in Los Angeles.
Absolutely. All right, Vinny, before we go, last update on tonight, the Green Bay Packers and the Las Vegas Raiders. Vinny, there's starting to be some money taken on Green Bay here because we're starting to see 1.5 in the market.
I see that. So, not a shock given the amount of Packer backers in town. So the counter behind us is open. By the way, you also can open even if you're not a Nevada resident, you can open a phone app, a phone account here at the South Point and use it when you're here.
Absolutely.
So,
refunded
for the in-game and the halftime wagering available once it occurs tonight. But yeah, Jeff, Packers again right now. They opened 1, got as high as 2. Garoppolo news comes out during the course of the week and then gets confirmed this morning. Raiders as high as 2.5. South Point still at 2.5, but you're starting to see more 2s, a couple of 1.5s out there. 45 for the total, which is up from the opener of 43.5, but down a half point from this morning. So
best money line in town, right behind us right now on the Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
If you want them on the money line, you have the best one in town.
135. I'm sorry, minus 35 plus 15 cents. Yeah, so
best one on Green Bay, I'm saying.
Plus, yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
You want the Packers?
Otherwise,
money
you're
line?
probably only going to take plus a dime or plus 12 cents somewhere. So
yeah, it's plus 10 basically across the board now. Plus 15 behind us. If you want the Packers as an underdog tonight. All right, that's all the time we have. Tomorrow, Punchline. Frank Nicotero at noon Pacific, where you're watching us right now here at the South Point studio. This show is back on Thursday, 3 o'clock Pacific time, leading into Chiefs and Broncos. Mm-hmm. We may have no baseball. Well, yeah, we may have no baseball series to talk about because they could all be over by then, Vinny.
More sweeps?
More sweeps?
Wow.
Very possible at this rate.
Wow.
And a lot more to get to. Hey, NBA's coming up. College basketball within the next month. A lot of stuff happening here in the month of October. He's Vinny Magliulo. I'm Jeff Parles. We'll see you next time. Sports by the Book here at the South Point studio.